So I am filming 2 days in a row. Not in a row, in a week. It's been a week. It's getting better. I'm doing better at this point in the week. But I wanted to come on, wanted to say hi, and I'm trying to be proactive on my filmings. When I get time, I take it. So that when I don't have time, I have content. Trying to keep a weekly upload is probably not going to happen every single time, but if I can do this where sometimes 2 days out of the week I can come on and I can film, gonna be good. In other news, who is excited for the next Hunger Games book? Right? Can't wait. I can't wait. Sunrise Day in March. How amazing is that going to be? I already pre-ordered. I'm already reading Ballad. If you know, you know. Like, you gotta start with Ballad, right? I mean, we gotta read Ballad, and then we gotta read Sunrise, and then we gotta read Hunger, Catching, Mocking, right? Gotta. um, yeah, so I'm not very far into it, because I do want to make it all the way to March. I don't want any gaps. I want to go straight through the story. So that is my goal for that, my reading goal. And I'm very, very excited. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. I saw on their social that they have posted an excerpt from the first chapter, and it's so good. Oh my god. It totally gives you the vibe that they had for Haymitch. I'm a huge Woody Harrelson fan. I think he does a great job in his movies. He is in a movie called The Prisoner of Defiance, Ohio, which is one of the greatest movies. It's so good, and he plays kind of the same type of character, like super gruff and outstanding acting. And he actually works alongside Julianne Moore, which is interesting because they were in the Mockingjay movies together. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. But other than that, not much for our pre-gab. I want to come on and kind of piggyback off of what I started talking about at the beginning of the year a little bit. And I wanna take it to a full-on like topic. So I want to talk about relationships today. So I want to keep everything just moving along. And I want to get into it because I think this is important. And honestly, with everything that has gone down since 2020, we need this. We need to talk about relationships. It's not easy. You have a lot of dynamics in relationships. You have a lot of ebbs and flows. And, for me, I am also the type where I tend to over analyze things and I'm hypersensitive in my relationships. So something that is not something that I can change or something that I can still feel like I have to fix it. And I know that's something that a lot of people feel. It's not anything that's exclusive to me. It's not anything that isn't, not new. It's not something that's like, oh, is something wrong with me? Like that. It's something that I feel like we all struggle with, and it's something that I have learned over since since 2020. I can't do. I can't do. And I keep learning it. And, you know, I'm not responsible for someone else's happiness. I'm not responsible for someone else's, someone else's joy. I can be a catalyst in their happiness. I'm not responsible for their joy. What do I mean by this? Joy comes from the Lord, first of all. If you don't have the Lord, you're not going to have the joy that you see a lot of people having. If they have that spark, that light, it's usually the Lord. If it's something else, it's not real. If it's something else, run far away. Far away. But if they tell you it's the Lord, it probably is. I'm not saying that everybody who says, oh, it's the Lord is actually good for your life. But what I am saying is that is something that you can take to the bank. The Lord is the source of real joy, which real joy is like, even when things are going wrong, you can take something good out of it. That's joy. Happiness is a happenstance. It's something that you get to do, something that you get to feel. Joy is something that you have it. It's just not always something that we rely on. So not always something that we go to. It's not always something that we feel. You don't always feel joy, but you always have joy. So I am not responsible for someone else's joy. I'm responsible for my own happiness. I can make myself happy by doing something I enjoy, something I like. I can make myself happy by reading my favorite book or watching my favorite movie or, having a delicious meal or putting on my makeup. I can make myself happy, but I don't need to make myself have joy because I already have it. So for that, that has been something that I've carried with me for my relationship. Something that I have really begun to connect with. And not every person that I interact with is a relationship. There's a difference between interaction and a relationship. I don't have to have a relationship with everybody that I interact with. I don't have to tell everything that I'm feeling or thinking to every person I interact with. And that's something that I have learned in the last couple of weeks, honestly. I tend to be an oversharer. I tend to be like, I want to talk. I like talking. And I tend to be like, oh, I see this person and they're standing there and there's, nothing else going on. Let me bring something up. If there's a song playing that I like, I'm going to talk about why I like the song. If there's, somebody says something that reminds me of a story, I'm going to tell a story. I am learning to not do that anymore. Because first of all, half the time, the person that you're talking to doesn't care. Secondly, the person that you're talking to, a lot of times, they weren't asking for that. So it's like you just learn that there's really no point in trying to make every single interaction a relationship. I really started this whole thing here to get to this point talking about relationships. That's kind of where my idea started, was me thinking about this and how I want to have interactions. I do. I enjoy interacting with people. Hence, I'm putting this out into the ether. But I don't have to share every little detail. I am getting raw and real. I am being honest. I am, gonna do all the things, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you every little thing anymore. And like most people will be like, well, you already did, you already posted it, like, but it's not something that I'm gonna do anymore. So if somebody has it and somebody heard it and whatever, that's fine. Whatever. It is what it is. But for me, now, what I want to present is somebody who is not going to waste the care that I put into my relationships on an interaction. I want a relationship. And I'm not just talking about romantic. Romantic is great. I'm talking about in general. I want relationships. I don't want all interactions. I don't want just acquaintances. I want relationships. And that starts with the Lord. Let's just put it out there. I'm not gonna throw scriptures at you, but it does say, 1 John 4:20, if you say you love God, but you hate people, you're lying. And in the same way, if you say you love people, but you don't love God, then you can't even love yourself. Love God, love you, love others. That's how it works. It goes like this and that. This and that. So this doesn't work, that's not gonna work. If the up and down won't work, then the straight across is just not gonna work. It's just the way it is. And some people might say that they disagree with that. And that's okay. You can disagree. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm just here to say that's what I found. Nobody who says that they have love in their life, and doesn't have God, actually can sustain that. It's hard enough. It is hard enough. And again, I'm not talking about just romantic relationships. When, a lot of times when we say relationships, everybody's going, oh, well, what do you know? Or, oh, well, I'm already in a relationship, so I don't need to hear this. And it's like, I'm not just talking about that. I am talking about that. And to give you a quick backstory, I've not been in a serious romantic relationship. No, but I did spend time in a group with a guy that I liked who ended up leaving the group, leaving the state actually. He moved and it was sad. It was really sad. I was sad about that. But I have had lots of friendships in my life and I've learned a lot. A lot. And it's funny because I told you guys when I first started this on the first episode, I love Pinterest. Pinterest is like a really fun place to just scroll through. And a lot of the things, especially lately, that I've been reading on there are like so poignant for relationships. It's like a lot of stuff that I've shared on my stories. So if you follow me on social, you'll see, a lot of times I'll share those on my stories. I don't really share much on my page anymore because I, have really streamlined what I post. I just don't really post like that anymore. I used to post quite a bit, and now I don't. I just realize that it really doesn't do anything, and it's honestly a waste of time. And time is very important to me, especially now. I take every second for making sure that everything is taken care of. So, don't always have time to post, but a lot of things changed for me over the course of the holiday season that I was just like, let's just keep it streamlined. So I have streamlined so many things in my life, and it's been great. I took a lot of stuff down. I took a lot of stuff and changed it, and I don't know. This just feels right. So anyway, I have people in my life that, they were gone for a while and they tried to come back and, things didn't work out and then, lost contact with them and then, run into them again and it's like why? Why? And, but in the grand scheme of things, you realize that, it's really just about, like I said, it's that relationship with the Lord that really makes the difference, or lack thereof that breaks it. Like I said, people will try to tell you, oh, I don't, and I'm happy, and I didn't say happy. I didn't say happy. I said joyful. There's a difference. How many things can you do to make yourself happy before you're not happy anymore? And I think it's important to really take stock of that and to really pay attention to those things, because those are the moments when you might want to ask that person, you might want to be like, oh, so you say you're happy, but do you have joy in your heart and in your life? Like, when things are going wrong, do you, how do you handle it? And where do you put that? And for me, that's my biggest thing, is I have found that there's honestly, a lot of freedom in feeling that, and feeling like, oh, well, I can, I can say that even when, things aren't really working out, that I can find a place to steady myself and to move forward with it. That's probably as good as these are going to get. If you're watching on YouTube, I tried. Let me see if I can fix spout. And, honestly, it's like, it's not the most important thing in life to always have someone around you. It is good to have people to, hang out with. And, I can't say I don't have anyone. I'm gonna say that I have, there are times, and that's fine. But I'm saying, like, in general, it shouldn't be like that community that we all honestly we all want. I mean, nobody actually wants to be alone, right? But it's more about who you are at the foundation and where the foundation lies, and where that's gonna take you. It's not always gonna be easy or perfect or good. Sometimes things aren't gonna work out because life doesn't work like that. Sometimes things are gonna go wrong, and you're gonna have a bad week, you're gonna have a bad day, you're gonna have whatever. But if you have that ongoing relationship with the Lord, you can have that foundation to keep you steady, and that brings you into the relationships that you do come to, and it does help put it in perspective. For me, I don't have friends. My friends, quote unquote, weren't really friends, and I'm okay with that. And I don't have that anymore. So on the bright side, I don't have that fakeness anymore of people who weren't really my friends and didn't really want to see me thrive. And, like I said, those people who did end up kind of back in my life, in the way of interactions, I just kept it calm. And those people were over exaggerated and, trying to show, you know, whatever they were trying to show. When really they just showed their own insecurity and their own awkwardness. And honestly, that's okay. Because I am not the same person that I was. And honestly, I'm not even the same person that I was when I saw them the first time in a long time. I'm not the same person I was since the last time I saw them, which was the time that I'm talking about, and I'm really grateful for that. For me, I'm not going to allow myself to feel what I would have felt um, in those situations before. I'm not going to allow myself to be in that place where I, am going back over all the things that I'm not. And I'm going to just be who I am. And I'm going to be even more so authentic to who I'm becoming. It's funny because, when you're in that awkward teen phase, you're like, oh, I don't know who I am. And, I'm trying to find my identity and, all that stuff that people say. And that, kind of, it kind of just like that kind of becomes your identity is like, oh, the identity seeker, the question mark. At least for me, that's how it felt. And you realize all the things that you did to sort of do that you didn't have to do. The things that just now when I look back, it's like it doesn't make sense. Like, why did I have to do that way? Like, why did I feel like I had to do that? Even then going into adulthood, the things that I realize I don't have to do, like why? Why did I do that to myself? Like, because here's the thing, 99% of the time, the situation that you're putting yourself in, let's say it's for a relationship. Let's just put it in that perspective. Okay, let's say you're doing something for a relationship. That person in the relationship, usually, unless it's something that is effortless, something that is, it's gonna come naturally. It's gonna come with ease, right? Unless it's that, it's not. And when I say ease, I don't mean ease as in it's going to be easy to do. Some things aren't going to be easy to do. I get it. Like forgiveness, like compromise, like, I get it. But I'm talking about the going about it. It's gonna be grace to it. There's gonna be a poise to it, right? But if it doesn't 99.9 whatever percent of the time, that person that you're doing it for doesn't care. They don't care. They don't see that as anything. And they don't care that it puts you out. It doesn't matter to them that, you just got up 2 hours early to, do your makeup a certain way, to look a certain way. They're not going to care that you know, skipped a meal so that you would stay a certain weight. They aren't going to care that you didn't, buy the thing for yourself because you were going to get them a gift. Like most people don't care about that. Most people, they don't have that. The apathy that happens a lot of times nowadays, it's not easy. And I think too, like, that's a big part of some of the changes that I've made is just realizing that in that apathy, you gotta find where you fit your generosity or kindness. Kindness matters. A kind heart is important, and it's refreshing. Not everybody does that. Not everybody thinks like that. Not everybody takes the time to actually, you know, go the extra mile or, be that thoughtful person. Sometimes it's not so much that they don't care as much as they just don't think about it. And you got to know the difference between the two people and just move on from there and fit in your kindness when you can. And when you can't, you can't. It's another thing that I've learned. When I can't, I can't. I, in a lot of areas found myself being like, oh, well, I gotta do this so that I can make this, and I gotta be there, and I gotta do this, and you know what? If I can't, I can't. My priorities are my priorities, and if you don't know that about me, then you didn't take the time to know me, and I don't really have time to explain myself to everybody. So, with that being said, I'm not always going to be there when you think I should be there. I'm not always going to be who you think I should be, when you think I should be it. Sometimes I'm gonna be a little bit less than you think I should be. Not out of anger, not out of bitterness, but out of the fact that I just can't do it. And I think we need to normalize that. I think we need to normalize, one of the things that I grew up with is Mary Kate and Ashley. one thing that I saw them say is that their parents taught them as they grew older and wanted to step away from, acting, is they taught them that no is a full sentence. And yes. I say yes because that is so true. It is so true. I don't have to explain to you everything. I don't have to go into detail just because you think that I should be somewhere, or that I should be doing something, or that I should be someone. So in relationships, I think it's important to remember that. And I think it's important to go about your relationships that way, that when you can, you can. And definitely do. Definitely try. Definitely put in the effort to. But when you can't, you can't. And it's okay. And it's alright to feel like, you want to. It's okay for that. That happens. We feel like we want to. But take stock before you decide what you're going to do and weigh your priorities first. And priorities should be God, family, work, friends. And with work, there are contingencies. I get it, absolutely. There are certain things that come up at work that, call for things that might interfere with other things, and that's okay. You gotta weigh it out. You gotta weigh out what's going to benefit everybody the best. And what things are going to be more important at the end of the day. Your wants and needs should come before, like, your necessities are necessities. And then everything else falls into line. Like I said, with prioritizing, those big boulders go first and your little pebbles go last. And you just gotta learn what's a little pebble and what's a boulder and what's gonna fit, and how it's gonna fit, and where it's gonna fit. And once you do that, you're on your way. I have been rambling for almost 40 minutes again. I think this is a theme. So I'm going to say goodbye. Make sure you are subscribing to everything. Subscribe everywhere. I can't really see who is listening on Spotify. It's not really showing me. But I am seeing views going up on Instagram, YouTube. My God. And so that is definitely a encouragement for me to keep going. You can go ahead and comment down below if you are watching on YouTube. You can go ahead and comment down below. Comment if you agree, if you disagree. I don't care. I don't mind. Obviously be kind. But if you have something that you want to add, if you have something that you want to say, go ahead. Go right ahead. It never hurts to put yourself out there and see what the response is. One of my favorite things is that with YouTube and Instagram, I have been able to have lots of comments being liked and responded to. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to see. Because for a while I wasn't really getting anything, and that's kind of why I stepped out as far as like YouTube. That's why I kind of stepped away because I was like, oh, because I was like, you know, why am I not getting the views? Why am I not getting? And I really think it's just something that you gotta work at, and you gotta keep telling people, like, hey, check it out, you know? So, anyway, enough of my rambling. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. Keep getting it together.